we're diving deep into Google's March 2025 update, figuring out what it all means.
It's a big one, that's for sure. And the thing about these core updates is, well, if you're feeling those shifts, it means you're right in the thick of it. They're changing almost everything about how we use the internet.
You got that right.
I mean, think about it. Whether you're running some huge online store or just looking for the best pizza place in your neighborhood, these updates to Google's ranking system, they really change what you find online.
It's not just like, oh, they moved a few things around. This is a Google core update. We're talking a fundamental shift in how Google decides which websites show up first in the search results.
Exactly. It's like they're reevaluating their entire library, like totally reorganizing the bookshelves.
I like that analogy. So in this deep dive, we're going beyond all the tech talk and rumors. We want to break down what this March 2025 update really means for you.
Right. We've gone through all the official stuff, the expert analysis, all the news. We're bringing you the key takeaways, the stuff that matters.
Let's start with the timeline. Google officially announced the update on March 13th, 2025.
Yep.
They said it'll take about 2 weeks to fully roll out. So by late March, it should be in full effect.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Some people were already seeing changes around March 6th, like little hints of the storm before it actually got.
Interesting.
And this is where it gets really relevant for anyone who's listening. Google says this update is all about, quote, better surfacing relevant, satisfying content for searchers from all types of sites, end quote.
Okay.
But this time, they added something about wanting to, quote, surface more content from creators.
Surface more content from creators. That's interesting.
So the question is, what does that mean for you when you search for something online?
Yeah, will we start seeing different types of information, different voices getting highlighted? That's what we're trying to figure out here.
Exactly. And as usual, Google isn't giving away all the details. They're keeping it pretty high level.
Yeah, their main message is just that this is a regular update, designed to, like they said, better surface relevant, satisfying content.
Right. Just another day at Google, improving the search results.
Right. They haven't given us a specific checklist or anything, no to-do list for website owners, just the usual advice. Create helpful, reliable, people-first content.
You hear that every single time, don't you? Every time there's a new update.
We do. It's like their mantra. But it's important because think about what they're really saying, especially if you've seen your website drop in the rankings.
Okay, what are they saying?
It's probably not because of some technical error or one specific SEO trick you tried.
Got it.
It's more likely that Google is now valuing other websites more for those searches. Like, the bar for what's considered useful has gone up.
Makes sense. But here's what's fascinating. The SEO experts, the ones who watch these updates like hawks, they were seeing big changes even before Google announced anything officially.
Really?
Yeah. Gabe, for example, he was noticing, core update-like impact, starting as early as March 6th. That's a whole week before the official announcement.
Wow.
He saw some pretty big shifts in rankings and website visibility.
That's a sure sign Google was testing things out, maybe even rolling out parts of the update in the background.
Like a soft launch?
Exactly. And he pointed out that some websites were seeing spikes or drops in traffic starting around March 6th, so it wasn't affecting everyone the same way.
Interesting. And something else he noticed, websites focused on affiliate marketing seem to be doing pretty well in those early days.
That is interesting.
What do you think that is?
Well, if we go back to what Google said about satisfying content, maybe this update is just better at picking out the affiliate content that's actually good.
Okay.
Think about it. A really good product review, a helpful comparison guide. That stuff's super useful if you're trying to figure out what to buy.
Makes sense.
So maybe the old updates weren't so good at separating the good affiliate stuff from the bad, the stuff that's just trying to sell you something.
I get it.
This could be Google getting better at understanding what people really want when they search for products.
Makes you think twice about those Amazon reviews.
It does.
But Gabe did give a warning, didn't he? He said these early trends might not last.
Oh, definitely. He's right. Remember, these core updates are super complex. They're like a giant machine with tons of moving parts. One change might help certain websites at first, but then other changes could kick in and balance things out.
So those early wins might level off, and the early losses might recover a bit.
Exactly. It's a constantly changing process. You got to watch it closely.
And then you have Barry Schwartz, who's been tracking these updates for years. He's seen it all. He wasn't so quick to jump on the creator content train.
Right. He's a bit more cautious, sees this March 2025 rollout as just a, quote, typical broad core update. He doesn't think websites that struggled with the last update will automatically bounce back just because of this new focus.
Makes sense. And it's funny, the day they announced the update, those tools that measure how much search results are changing.
Right, the volatility trackers.
Yeah, they were showing really low levels of volatility, almost eerily calm.
It does seem counterintuitive. But that's normal, actually. Those tools pick up on the initial reactions, but the real chaos usually starts when Google starts implementing the changes over the next few days and weeks.
So it's like the calm before the storm. We know the real impact will hit soon.
Exactly. As this 2-week rollout goes on, that volatility is going to ramp up, and then we'll see the real impact of the update.
Okay, so to really understand how big this March 2025 update is, we need to look back at some of the other recent updates, right? Let's go back to March 2024. That was a pretty big one.
It was huge. It took 45 days to roll out, which is super long for one of these updates. That was a sign they were overhauling things big time.
It was like a total system reboot.
And it wasn't just about content quality either. They were really cracking down on spam and low-quality stuff across the whole internet.
Yeah, remember all the reports about how they were getting rid of thin content, the stuff that wasn't very helpful?
Yeah.
Like a digital cleanup effort.
Exactly. So March 2024 had this two-pronged approach. Improve the good stuff, get rid of the bad stuff. That's why it took so long. This new update is more typical around 2 weeks, and they haven't specifically said anything about new spam fighting measures.
Got it. So they're both core updates, but 2024 was kind of exceptional.
Right.
Then there was August 2024. What was the main focus there?
August 2024 was very direct. Their goal was to promote high-quality content, and specifically to push down what they called low-value SEO content. The stuff that's just made to manipulate search rankings, not to help people.
Right, like websites that are just full of keywords but don't actually say anything useful.
Exactly. So August was all about rewarding the websites that care about user experience, that give you good, helpful information.
Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Kind of what they're saying now.
It does. So we see a clear connection there. They both want to elevate good content. But this March 2025 update, it adds that specific focus on content from creators. That's the new wrinkle.
Right, right. And it's worth noting, both updates were global. They didn't target any specific industries. They affected everybody.
Right. Everyone's in the game.
And then just a couple of months later, we had another one. December 2024. That one felt a lot quicker.
It was fast, only 6 days. It was interesting because it came right after another core update in November.
Back-to-back updates. What was going on there?
Felt like Google was making some last-minute tweaks to the rankings before the end of the year, getting everything just right for the holidays.
I could see that, but they didn't really explain what that December update was all about, did they?
Not really. It seemed like they were just refining some of the things from the November update.
Yep.
Now, this March 2025 one comes after a little break, a few months after the last major change. And this time, they're talking about elevating original creator content, which wasn't really a big theme in December.
So looking back at all these updates, it seems like they're becoming a regular thing, right? Like we can expect them every few months.
It's the new normal. And the March 2025 update fits right in. They're all focused on making the search results better, more relevant, whether it's fighting spam, like in March 2024, or rewarding high-quality content over SEO tricks, like in August 2024. The message is always the same. Make good content that people actually want to read.
So we've talked about what Google's saying and what the experts are saying, but what's happening out there in the real world? What are website owners experiencing? What should our listeners be looking out for?
Well, as soon as the updates started rolling out, all those SEO tracking tools, they lit up like Christmas trees, big spikes in what they call SERP volatility. That means the search results were changing like crazy.
So real chaos, just like you predicted.
Yep. Lots of websites saw their traffic go up or down, sometimes by a lot. Some of those early trends we talked about, like the affiliate sites doing well.
Right.
Well, there's some evidence that those gains are real. Gabe mentioned affiliate marketers seeing a real boost in traffic and visibility. The theory is that Google's getting better at spotting the good affiliate content, the stuff that actually helps people.
Like those detailed product reviews and comparisons.
Exactly. Some affiliate marketers are even seeing better rankings for those super specific long-tail searches, the ones that really show what people are looking for, and that's translating into more sales.
That's good news for anyone who's making money through affiliate marketing.
It is. But on the other side, you have businesses and publishers who are getting hit hard by this update.
Yeah, I've heard some people say this is like an extinction event for their business. It's scary stuff.
It is serious. The websites that have really thin content or the ones that are still using those outdated SEO tricks.
The spammy stuff.
Yeah, they're definitely seeing their rankings drop.
Makes you wonder what they were thinking.
It does. You have to adapt, you know?
And it's not just about content quality either, right? If you're in a really competitive niche and the big players are putting out amazing content, you've got to step up your game.
Absolutely. If your content isn't as good as the competition, you're going to lose out. You have to give people something valuable, something they can't find anywhere else.
We even heard from a media website that saw its Google traffic drop overnight.
Yeah, that happens. Those dramatic drops often hit websites that are too focused on SEO, you know?
They're trying to please the algorithm instead of real people.
Right. Their content might be technically optimized, but it doesn't offer anything new or unique. People see right through that.
Google too, apparently.
Yeah.
And it's not always a smooth ride, even for websites that are doing well overall. Some people are describing it as a roller coaster.
Yeah, some websites are seeing their rankings jump up and down day to day, up one day, down the next. Some news websites even got kicked out of Google Discover and top stories for a bit, then they got back in.
So it's not over till it's over. You could be winning today and losing tomorrow.
Exactly. Google's testing things out, making adjustments as they go. That's why it's so important to wait until the full 2 weeks are up before you make any big decisions.
Don't panic. Wait for the dust to settle. That's Google's advice, too.
It is. We won't know the real winners and losers until the end of March.
Okay, so let's say you're listening to this and you're seeing some changes on your website. What should you do? What tools should you be using?
All right, first things first. You got to keep an eye on your data. Google Search Console is your best friend here.
Google Search Console.
Yeah, it's free and it gives you a ton of information. Check your organic traffic, see how many people are clicking on your pages, see how many times your pages show up in the search results, that's your impressions, and look at your average rankings, especially for your most important pages.
And if you see big drops or spikes that line up with the updates timeline,
that's a sign you've been affected. The performance report in Search Console lets you filter by date and search query so you can see exactly which pages and keywords got hit. And don't forget those coverage and indexing reports. They'll tell you if Google's having trouble finding your pages or if they've stopped indexing some of them.
Got it. So Search Console tells you what Google's seeing.
Yeah.
But what about those third-party SEO tools? What can they tell us?
The third-party tools. Those are like your secret weapon. Ahrefs, Semrush, Moz. They give you a different angle.
Okay.
They can track your rankings for specific keywords every day, and they show you your overall visibility in the search results. After this update, you might see keywords that were on page 1 suddenly drop to page 2 or 3. Right. Or you might see some keywords climb up the ranks. And a lot of these tools can also do competitor analysis. They'll show you who's beating you for those important keywords.
So you can see what they're doing right and maybe learn from them.
Exactly. Check out their content. What are they talking about? How's it structured? Are they doing something you're not?
Makes sense.
And don't forget about the SRP volatility trackers, Semrush Sensor, Mozcast. They can tell you if the changes you're seeing are part of a bigger trend or if it's just your website acting weird.
So we've got Google Search Console for the inside scoop from Google and third-party tools for a broader view. Yeah. What about good old Google Analytics? Is that still relevant?
Analytics is still super important. It might not track your rankings directly, but it shows you how people are behaving on your website. That's gold.
Right.
Look at your organic search traffic. Filter down to specific pages. If a page's traffic tanks after the update, it probably means its ranking dropped. Then look at things like bounce rate and dwell time. That tells you how engaged people are with your content.
So if a page's ranking drops and people aren't sticking around,
That's a bad sign. It could mean Google's figured out that your content isn't as good as it used to be.
ouch.
But hey, it's all data. You can learn from it.
Okay, so we're tracking our data and we're seeing some changes. What can we actually do about it? How can we adapt to this new update and maybe even recover if we took a hit?
All right, here's the big one. EEAT. Expertise, experience, authoritativeness, trust.
DEAT.
Got it.
This is something Google really cares about. They want to see that your content is written by people who know what they're talking about. So look at your pages, especially the ones that got hit hardest. Do you have clear author bios that show their expertise? Do you cite your sources? Do you back up your claims?
You basically prove to Google that you're the real deal.
Exactly. You might even want to do a full EEAT audit of your website. See where you can improve.
That makes sense. What else can we do?
Another thing, look for what they call low-value content on your site. like pages that are really short or outdated, or pages that basically say the same thing as another page.
Exactly. That stuff can hurt your rankings, especially after a core update. You can either beef up those pages, add more value, or just get rid of them. Remember, Google wants quality over quantity.
Okay, so we're focusing on quality content, getting rid of the fluff. What about the technical stuff? Is that important too?
While core updates mostly care about your content, it never hurts to check for technical problems.
Just in case.
Right. Use Search Console's index coverage report to make sure Google can still see all your important pages. Look back at any recent changes you made to your website, make sure everything's working right.
Things like site speed, mobile friendliness.
Yeah, all that stuff. It might not be as important as content, but it can definitely hold you back if it's not right.
So now let's talk about the content itself. If you're seeing some pages drop in rankings, how do you know what to change?
All right, so if a page is underperforming, look at the top results for those keywords.
See what the competition's doing.
Exactly. What kind of content are they putting out? Has what people are searching for changed? Maybe their content is formatted differently.
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
You gotta adapt, right. Add more detail, include some FAQs, use more visuals, make sure your page titles are clear and match what people are searching for. And whatever you do, don't try to cheat the system.
No black hat SEO tricks.
No way. That'll just hurt you in the long run. Just focus on making your content the absolute best it can be.
It's all about the long game.
It is. And Google's always saying, be patient. Don't freak out and make changes right away. Wait those 2 weeks, gather your data, analyze what's happening.
And even if you make changes, don't expect to see results immediately.
Right. It takes time for Google to reevaluate your site. You might not see movement until the next core update. It's like they're constantly regrading your website based on how well you're doing.
So what's next? What can we expect from Google in the future? What should website owners be prepared for?
Well, one thing's for sure. Quality content is king, and it's going to stay that way. Google's always trying to get better at understanding what makes content good and helpful.
And what about that focus on creator content we talked about?
I think that's a big deal. Google specifically said they want to, quote, surface more content from creators this year. That means they want to give more visibility to individual experts, niche publishers, people who have something unique to offer.
Sounds like an opportunity for anyone who's creating original, high-quality content.
It is. And remember those spam fighting updates we talked about? They're not going away either.
So the pressure's on.
Yeah, Google's getting better and better at detecting spam, especially with all this AI-generated content floating around.
Right. Just because a robot wrote it doesn't mean it's good.
Exactly. And they're cracking down on those shady link-building schemes, too.
So the message is clear. Play by the rules, make great content.
That's the way to win. And these core updates are probably going to keep coming every few months.
So stay vigilant.
Absolutely. Keep an eye on Google's announcements. Stay informed about what's happening in the SEO world.
And what about the big picture? How is AI changing things? It's a bit speculative, but it's something to think about.
It's the million-dollar question, right? As Google uses more AI in search, like those AI summaries and generative tools, the ranking algorithm will have to change too.
Right. If people are using those AI features, Google will start paying attention to what content those features are using.
Exactly. And Google's getting better at understanding language too, so that they'll be able to figure out what people really want when they search for something, even if the search is complex.
So ultimately, it's all about giving people the best possible answers.
That's Google's mission, and it always will be.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. What's the main takeaway for our listeners?
It's simple. Create high-quality content that people actually want to read. That's the foundation of good SEO.
SEO isn't about tricks or shortcuts. It's about providing value.
Exactly. It's a long game, but it's the only game in town.
And for everyone listening, this update is an opportunity.
An opportunity to learn, adapt, and get ahead.
Use the tools we talk about, keep an eye on your data, and stay informed.
Each update tells us something new about how Google works. It's like a window into their brain.
So here's a final question for you to think about. What makes you unique? What expertise or experience do you have that no one else does?
How can you use that to create content that stands out, content that Google will love?
Think about it. That's your key to success in this ever-changing world of search.